Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to make a press mold bowl using the coiling technique. The materials that you'll need to make this bowl is a bowl that is slightly larger than the one that you want to complete. Because of the drying process and the firing process, the clay will continue to shrink, so it's best if you pick a bowl that is slightly larger. You'll also need a grocery bag that we will wrap the bowl in to prevent the clay from sticking to the surface of the bowl. You'll need your 3 pounds of clay, your slip, and a scoring tool. So for this bowl, because my press mold is slightly on the larger side, I think I'm going to end up using most, if not all, of 3 pounds of clay. But I will start off with just using half of it and see how far I can get with it. And then as I need more, I will pull out more from my reserve that I'm going to set aside. So any clay that you're not currently using, be sure to store it away tightly in your sealed bag so that it does not dry out on you as you're working on your piece. If at any point in time you are coiling and you're working on your piece and you have to stop, be sure to keep all of your clay properly wrapped up so that it doesn't dry out before you're finished working on it. And using a plastic bag to keep it covered will help prevent it from drying out. So with the clay, you're going to start off the same way as how we do with any other piece of project. You want to start off by wedging the clay just to work out any of the air bubbles and air pockets that are within the clay. So wedge it really well until you feel as though it's compact enough, and then you're going to slowly taper off your wedging, and you're going to start forming it into a slight cube, but we're really not too concerned about the shape of it. I'm just cubing it because I know that it will further compact my clay and prevent there from being any air pockets in it. So I'm going to compact it, but I'm not too concerned about the shape of it because for the coiling method, you're just going to pull off a lump of clay and then you're going to start coiling it. So here I've got a lump of clay. I'm going to start off by rolling it between the palms of my hands. You certainly can do that for coiling, but I find that working on a table surface, it works best for me. You can use one hand or two hands. Sometimes I use two hands, sometimes I use one hand. But what I'm going for is something that is of even thickness all the way around. Nice round coil that is going to be about the thickness of my pinky. We don't want it to be too thin because our walls are going to end up being way too thin, and we don't want it to be too thick either. Once you have the proper size required for the coil, you can go ahead and score it and apply a very small amount of slip here, just enough to help the clay join itself. So I'm going to start off by very tightly coiling or rolling my clay in on itself where I have scored it into this. It looks kind of like a cinnamon roll or maybe like the tail of a snail. So I'm going to press it, make sure that it's adhering to itself pretty well, and I'm going to place it right in the center of my bowl here, which is a little difficult to figure out, but that's okay because as we build on this coil here, it will level itself out, and I'll show you guys how to blend them as well. And so the method itself is pretty repetitive. You grab another lump of clay, you go ahead and you roll out another coil, you're going to score it, you're going to slip it, and then you're going to wrap it around where you left off. Every once in a while, after you've attached the coil, you want to go ahead and blend the coils into one another so that we don't have them so separated. So here I am, I'm joining the coils together, I'm blending them together so that they're not separated and that they become, kind of one. If you have any areas where you might end up with like a gap in there, go ahead and fill in those areas with just a little bit of clay so that it levels things out and you won't end up with any deep scratches or gouges or dents in your clay. Alright guys, so we've made it all the way up to the top. I am going to check to make sure that the rim is nice and level up on top, that it's flush with the edge of the bowl, and if I need to, I'll add little bits of coil here and there just to touch it up. Then the last thing you want to do is you want to refine it further, smooth things out with your fingers, use a metal rib as well, but really try to refine the form so you get rid of any evidence of the coils that help shape your bowl. There will come a point in the smoothing process where you're just going to have to simply set it aside because the clay is just too wet to work with. And when that happens, you want there to be a little opening in the bag so the clay dries out, but so that you have a little more control over the pace of the drying. So leave a little bit of an opening. Be sure to check up on the clay periodically to make sure that it's not drying out too quickly. You want to wait until it's leather hard before you remove it out of the bowl. And once it's leather hard, you can smooth out the coils on the outside of the bowl and prepare it for the design. Good luck, everyone!